How about now? Do we have sound now? Here, let me... Sound. I think I figured it out. I just gotta put my microphone back. All right, as I was saying, sorry about that. It's Monday, October 6th, 5 p.m. is the time now, and believe it or not, it's about 27 degrees Celsius. Yes, it's October, and it's 27 degrees Celsius. I see Artemis is here, Ronald, Santasac, Medano, and I'm getting Deja Vu, Brad Palmer, Helena, Mark D. Sorry about that. Carolyn, a viewer said that I was featured today on YouTube. I don't even know what that is, but let me get my microphone. I got to put the wind muff back on it. Just a sec, and we're going to get up and get moving. But thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. Sorry about the little accident with the sound at the start. Man, I hate this microphone so much. Reguito, 437, Reguito, thank you so much. Just give me one sec, guys. Well, thank you, Reguito, and thank you, everyone else, for tuning in. Well, it's about time. Let's get up and get moving. I see Jeanette is here as well. This is what Brian thinks. I'm very excited to announce it's your third year working at Loblaws in the Ice District. Neat. Jeremy Joseph. Let's get moving. That's University Avenue. I just decided to sit here and set up shop. Ontario Camper says, long time viewer, enjoying this beautiful day. Beautiful day it is. Again, we're in October. The Jays just played 2 playoff games with the Dome open. Did I watch UFC? I did. Potan back on top. But the big news this weekend were the Jays kicking butt. They've got a lot more work to do, but they'll be in New York. Well, they already are in New York, but they'll be facing off versus Rodin and the hapless Yankees tomorrow night. And then if the Yankees win, they'll do it again Wednesday night. And if the Yankees win, they'll bring it back to Toronto. Hopefully it doesn't come to that. But we are on King Street, and this is the financial district, and they are running a lot of buses. It's a 503 bus. Sorry, I said university. Well, actually, I don't know why I'm saying sorry, but we're going to be going east along King Street for a bit. Baby Grinch says, go Dodgers, go. Mark D says, you savage was amazing. Yeah, he put in an all-time performance. I wasn't super happy to see him come out when he did. I thought it was kind of a dumb decision, but that's just the part of me that really wanted to see and keep going till the no-no was broken up. But he's got a lot of gas left in the tank now, so if they do need a Game 5 starter, I would actually go with the Savage over Gausman, the way he was mowing down the Yanks. So that could have been what Schneider was thinking, pull him out with a low pitch count. And he's still got plenty of juice. Vivian Johnson's here. Happy late afternoon / early evening. New York will prevail from this point on. Maybe. I mean, their offense has done absolutely nothing these playoffs. And apparently we just saw their so-called ace yesterday. Yeah, Schlittler and Rodon. Good luck. And thanks to everyone who tuned in yesterday. Sorry there was no regular Stumble stream, but it was still a lot of fun doing the watch along with the J game. I will not be doing one tomorrow. But if it goes to a game 4, maybe I'll do one Wednesday night. There's the Black and Blue Steakhouse, the golden age of steak. Any new retail moving into the old Hudson Bay or where Saks Fifth Avenue was? Not that I know of yet. But that is a Cadillac Fairview property, so I imagine something will be going in there. Jason Lynch says, "Hi Johnny, looks like a nice evening. Go Jays." Nice evening it is. And go Jays it is. There's a lot of people out on the patio at King Taps. Restaurants are loving this nice weather we're having. They're also loving the Blue Jays' success. Apparently, for sports bars and just restaurants in general, business is well up. Peter Bradfield, good to see you and thanks for the update. That's some positive news. We got a cop car, a Wham ambulance was around the corner, but there's a fire truck right here. I'm guessing the paramedics are of no use. I saw one coming this way when I was setting up this stream. It flew around the corner from the looks of things. That might have been a completely different emergency. There's a look up at the TD Center, the Mies van der Rohe masterpiece. Some more Toronto skyscraper action. Thank you again, Riguito. That's a lot of bike shares.
What I got, let's ring in New Year's Eve.
Billy T says, still a great building. Indeed. Carolyn watched the Stumble stream yesterday while making pea soup. And this is King and Bay coming up. The heart of the financial district. Gertej knew I was going live. I'm pretty predictable, at least lately. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Last week, it was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Haynes Marge. Front Street and Union Station just to the south. There's a decent critical mass of people out. There's definitely more people working in the office than earlier in the year. Fridays are still a bit quiet around here. I think that's still the preferred day to work from home. Do I own an espresso machine? No, I use a Keurig. I just buy whichever brand of biodegradable coffee pods are on sale. I'm not too picky with that stuff. But I don't use the plastic K-cups anymore. Lorraine says, looks very busy. It's a bit reminiscent of pre-pandemic financial district. Keep in mind there's a lot of people down below in the path that don't make their way up to surface level. Helena says, hello Johnny Strides, hello. Sweet English says today is Tuesday, right? Oh, it's Monday. Did I put Tuesday in the title? No, I put Monday evening in the title. It might be Tuesday where you are in the world, but it's Monday here. I need a Delagi machine. I'm good with my Keurig. Streetcar jam coming up. I was using a French press at the Airbnb in Picton. They provided a grinder and some beans. I like that, but it was annoying to clean it all up.
She's probably trying to get it.
We're at King and Young. Someone grabbing a picture. Maybe I should come back to the area tomorrow this time and do a video. There sure are a lot of people out. Lorraine loves a French press. I should go to the Bronx wearing Blue Jays gear and stream it from Yankee Stadium. Hey man, if someone wants to hook me up with tickets, a flight, and a hotel, I will gladly go to the Bronx and do just that. I got my passport. Oh, it's the east side of downtown. This is King Street East.
Oh, sorry.
And I remember when the Office Pub used to be here. That space has been nothing for a long time. Maybe it's just office space behind it, and there's no need to put anything on that side. Greetings, John Burke. All 320 of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Christos bets my subs would shoot up. It's also possible that stream gets taken down. One guy did live stream a Yankees Red Sox game from Yankee Stadium, and I have no idea how the hell his stream didn't get taken out. Maybe I'll check to see if the replay of it is still up. But it'll pick up 1 million copyright notices at least with all the music they play at those stadiums. The AeroPress is to espresso. Oh, you went from AeroPress to espresso. The coffee is incredible. There's a learning curve. Yeah, I don't need extra steps introduced into my life. Take out K-Cup. Make sure reservoir is full. Press button. Drink coffee. One thing I do every time I make a coffee in my Keurig, I make a cup of just water right after it. That kind of cleans things out a little bit. Hey, it's the Google headquarters. I got a tour through this office. When I met my YouTube channel rep, it was pretty cool being in there. Not like any office I've seen. It's very much open concept. They've got a cafeteria where you can just eat. You don't have to pay anything. They had really good food too. There's St. James. So this is King and Church coming up. Heinzel says espresso pods from Amazon. You think 50 to 20 cents a cup? Or 15? Look at this, we're in fall. A lot of people in t-shirts. Oh, looks like there's going to be a film shoot over there. They got all the pylons out on the sidewalk. There's the 504 King blocking our view of the church. Greetings, Aris. Fuck, these Dodgers are good, Johnny. We got our workout. Let's worry about New York. And then probably Seattle. But who knows? That series could be a coin flip. And we'll see who emerges from the NL. I'll probably be watching football tonight. I'll be keeping an eye on both baseball games. Hey, Bill Chow is here. And Tammy. We got 369 viewers. Thank you so much. Friendly reminder as I slur my words. Might still be hungover from yesterday. To like, subscribe, hit the bell, and all that fun stuff. Greetings, Kathy. Very excited to see Toronto again. Nick says, Nespresso coffee is good, but generates way too much waste. I think that was one of the regrets of the guy who invented the Keurig. Kind of crazy. The default K-cups are still those plastic ones.
The one over there?
It's Indochino. I knew a few guys that was their go-to to get suits. I don't know, Randy. I'm not gonna count my chickens before they hatch. We gotta take one from the Yankees. Hopefully tomorrow night. Very appropriate for King Street. Very appropriate. There's a couple of future meat crayons. St. Lawrence Hall. Hey, Morgan is here. There's a lot of people out on King Street East. Krista says Bieber is overrated. Game 3 is iffy. At least he's battle tested. We're heading towards George Brown, a school with buildings all over the city, but there's a decent sized campus just up ahead. Who knows that place before? Bar Ardo, right next to a nice looking gallery. Jennifer Galla's here. Hi, Johnny. Hello, everyone in the chat. Jennifer Galla. Thanks for tuning in, Jennifer, and everyone else. Started in the financial district, now in the St. Lawrence neighborhood. Just gonna keep going east for a while. This is the King East Design District. Bill Chow expressing his dislike for Apple. Oh, they resurfaced George Street recently. Lima Charlie, I've never heard of that place.
She just did
One of the things George Brown is known for is its culinary school. And I think they're like, he's vlogging. No, I'm not vlogging. I don't do that. What was I saying? I forgot. Oh yeah, I think they do their culinary classes at this campus. Well, I'd be going to the distillery district. Negative. That is southeast of here. Jennifer Gallo loving summer in October. That's an accurate description. I was out yesterday, and if you told me it was July, I wouldn't have doubted you. Sherburne Street coming up. Mike Landry 2. Mike Landry 2. Hello, Johnny and everyone. Thank you, Mike Landry 2, for the super chat. Hello to you, good sir. Do they still have that pizza vending machine over there? No, Pizza Forno. King Street's still a little ripped up. There's the hilariously named Design Within Reach. Or like Design Not Within Reach. Hey, Trojan Elk Explorer, welcome to Silver Tier. Trojan Elk Explorer, thank you so much for signing up to channel membership. Thank you, Trojan Elk Explorer. I remember one time being in here, checking out a sectional couch right in this section. And it was like $16,000 or something. And there was a guy in there with like his wife. He sat on it. He's like, I think we're gonna buy this. And then they started to call the salesperson over. Imagine dropping that kind of coin on a sectional. There's the much more reasonably priced EQ3. Canadian designed, Canadian crafted. Notice it didn't say where it was built. I mean, McLeod needs a new couch. Greetings, James Carter. I'm about to walk by where my favorite pub used to be. Betty's, until it was closed several years ago due to redevelopment. But I don't think they've started that project yet. Pinesel says it would be a $16,000 cat post in your home. Here's where Betty's used to be. RIP. It's crazy, they've done nothing with it all these years later. James Carter says, do I ever run into fans when making videos? Do I cut it out or keep it in? I rarely make any cuts in my videos. There's been times where something's happened. I'm like, yeah, I should probably cut that out. And then when I'm watching the premiere with everyone, it's like, oh shit, I left that in. There's some art of sorts. My videos are very much press record, record away, and then upload the whole damn thing pretty much untouched. Occasionally, if I like cough or sneeze or something, I'll fix the audio on that. Squirvet says hard to edit a stream live. Indeed. Greetings, Slushy Wolf. Let's design 2 new parks for your North St. Lawrence neighborhood. I wish they didn't consult the public on these things. It really leads to a very long, drawn-out process. And what the hell does the general public know about designing a park? No offense to all of us in the public, but there's people that are very good at that. That's just their way of saying it's going to take 5 years and cost us $20 million. Travel Fun 69 says, enjoy the last hot day. You're back from Niagara. I saw you were at the Copacabana there. I haven't been to the one in Niagara, but I've been to the one at Yonge and Eglinton. I should probably go back sometime. And apparently you went into a casino after? Greetings, Jeff. As you can see, the further east I go, the quieter the streets get. That's generally the case with downtown on the east side. Greetings, Canadian girl. That building there, I believe, is home to the Globe and Mail. Toronto Sun used to be located on that same block, just over there actually, in that building. But that newspaper is owned and operated by the same people who run the National Post, and now both are located up on Bloor Street East. Here's the home of a future subway station. It's quite a distance between this one and the next one, which will be east of the Don River. When the Eglinton Crosstown opens up, finally be prepared for rents to increase dramatically. I'm not sure the Crosstown is really going to be all that big of a deal. It doesn't have signal priority for the above ground stretch, so I question how much faster it's really going to be. And they're not super high capacity vehicles. It's really kind of a glorified underground streetcar. I hope I'm proven wrong, but Mike Harris never should have canceled the Eglinton subway back in the 90s when shovels were already in the ground. There's a westbound 504 King streetcar, and we are coming up to Parliament Street. So you could go south here, which is to the right, and head down to the Distillery District, but I'm gonna keep going east all the way till we cross the Don River. Evie says, is there a theater south of here? Movie theater? There's an old opera house, and I think a youth performing theater just south of here on Front. Jeff says, congrats on 140K. Thank you, sir. Hit that milestone on Friday. And huge thanks to everyone who tuned in and sent their support on that stream. Canadian girl misses riding the streetcars and subways. When things are working, it's a pretty great experience. That can be a big if in this city sometimes. Jeff's gonna hit 80K today. Holy shit. 20 away from the big number. Well, congrats in advance, Jeff, for hitting 80K subs. Jeff streams around the city and other cities. He was in Niagara Falls over the weekend. He's been up to Nashville a bunch of times. I ran into him not once but twice in Thailand, and we made some content together. You're a few away. Sometimes you have to be careful what you wish for. I've known some people that advertise that. They made a community post and then did a live stream, and a whole bunch of people decide to unsubscribe when they see that. Let it creep up and get there organically. There's the oldest still operating church in the city of Toronto. Trojan Elk says, congrats, Jeff. I like your channel. Gertej is still planning to call it at a Sunday Night Stumbles. We'll have to see what the baseball schedule is like. But hopefully we do a normal Stumbles next Sunday. And again, I'm not going to do another watch-along stream tomorrow, but maybe on Wednesday if it comes to it. Chris Mill says Nashville is fun. I've never been, but it looks fun from Jeff streams. Jeff, thanks, bro. Big ups. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the $5. Big ups to you, Jeff, and congrats again. There's one of those stupidly expensive furniture stores. Harriet Lane, little bar. Well, congrats to you, Jeff. Congrats to all the Bitcoin holders out there today. It broke its all-time high yet again for all those naysayers and doubters. Well, I guess you can go back to just missing out on all the fun. I got a little bug. That's why we got the higher streaming quality these days, just so I could do that. Canadian girl watched the Jays game from there in New Hampshire. I guess you're watching the Fox feed. Oh look, I haven't seen the backside of that condo from here. That's fronting, or rather it's on Front Street. James says lots of sports this week. It's always the case for me when fantasy football is going. Hockey and basketball starting to fire up. Got the baseball playoffs. Someone saying I should explore Regent Park. I've done a few videos walking through there recently. There is Gusto, the less trendy King East location. I've never been to any of them. Christos loves how pissed the U.S. sportscasters are about the Jays' success. Hey, props to Big Poppy. He had a pretty epic rebuttal to Jeter and A-Rod. Yeah, shitty day for New York sports fans. An uncharacteristic loss to the Patriots last night for the Bills even. Who's the most famous person I've encountered on one of these walks? That's a good question. I think I saw Benedict Cumberbatch once, but I don't think that counts. There were a million people waiting for him to come out of a building. I just so happened to be there. I came across Stephen A. Smith once, coming out of the Delta Hotel. Does that count? He went on a rant today about the Yankees' lack of success. There's Sumac Street. You could also head down to the distillery from here. I don't think Rogers was doing any blackouts during the playoffs. They do have the Canadian rights, so they could broadcast any playoff game with their own crew if they want, but obviously it only makes sense to use their own people only for Jays games and just show the Fox or TBS coverage for the US games. Lorraine says Stephen A. counts. Canadian girl says, when I was at the Jays game in July, you didn't notice how tall Aaron Judge was? Yeah, he's like 6'7", and Stanton is 6'6". And they aren't like a lean 6'7" or 6'6". They are proper giants. They're both built like a brick shithouse. Look at this cute little street. Morgan got to interview Lenny Kravitz. That's a funny ad. Ukuleles are fun to play. There's an Impact Kitchen. So we're almost at the Queen Viaduct. King Street comes to an end just up ahead here. The Canary District is the neighborhood just to the south. Want some water? All right, this is River coming up. I assume it's named River Street as it runs parallel to the Don River. There's a Timmy's. Hey, Yogi's here. Greetings all the way in the UK to Yogi. Maybe I'll cross here. It can be annoying crossing over there. Accessibility ramp in action. A monstrous improvement over the old streetcars. So we're on the east side of downtown, but I'm about to leave downtown in a moment. I'll be entering South Riverdale, more specifically an area dubbed Riverside. Having dinner with Mooch. He says, "What's up, Mooch? Long time no see." It was over in Thailand when I last saw you. What's up, Mooch? Thank you again, Jeff, for the $5. And hope you and Mooch are doing well. Todd Fuller says, "Hello, fellow citizens." Are you getting ready to celebrate the big 80K, Jeff? There's the Humane Society across the street. Whenever someone asks me what's a good charity in the city to give to, that's one of the first that comes to mind. They do solid work over there. There's Bayview Avenue down there. Cheers, we will all meet up soon, perhaps over some bowling action. Oh man, it's been so long since I've played. I think the last time I bowled was actually in Jomtien with my buddy Dahan, believe it or not. I'm going to be a little rusty, but I should be able to throw something in the neighborhood of 200. There's the Don River. The mouth of the Don has been completely reconfigured just south of here in the new Portlands. Randy Ruck says 10 pin or 5 pin. I did a lot of both growing up. And I haven't done 5 pin in forever. I don't know, we'll let Jeff pick. 5 pin's like a uniquely Canadian version of bowling. There's candle pin, duck pin. 10 pins where it's at. Baby Grinch says, let's go bowling now. I wish. We are entering Riverside. Broadview Hotel will be coming up on the left. Jeff says we could do 5 or 10. Your call, man. Welcome to Riverside. All right, what do you guys want to do? Go north up Broadview or north up Carlaw? Place your bets. Hey, there's a Wendy's coming to Baseball Place. This is the site of Canada's first professional baseball stadium. Here's where home plate was. Last named at Sunlight Park, the field and stands were demolished in 1913. Mark D says Broadview. Lisa says, I think you did Broadview. I came southbound Broadview, I think a few weeks ago. I don't know if I went down to Queen. But Lisa's votes for Carlaw. James Carter, Carlaw. Mark D, Broadview. Not a lot of votes in. It could easily be swayed. East Story, Broadview. Jason Lynch, Broadview winning 3-2. Morgan says north. Well, that's a vote for either of them. There's not much in the way of interesting north-south streets on this side. There's Prohibition. I was there about a month ago. Helena says Broadview. Someone throwing out a rug or carpet or whatever. Why would I say carpet? It's very clearly a rug. James says, can I put a second vote for Carlaw? You can, but we have some degree of electoral integrity here, so it won't be counted. Chat, should I order pizza? You're down 10 pounds. Do you want to celebrate? Hey, man. Nothing wrong with eating pizza. Well, it seems like Broadview has won. Zach McNally voting Carlaw. Broadview is up by 1. Broadview it is. Espero says 439000 Pizza Nova. Look at that dog, watching all the dogs walk down the sidewalk. Lisa says, come on, people. Well, Lisa, we'll do it again, except I'll take like Front Street over and we'll come up Broadview or Carlaw in a future one. But Broadview won. This works for me. We'll head up to maybe Broadview Station and I'll just jump into the subway from there. Sorry to anyone hoping for another super long stream. It's not in the cards today, but if I do another one in a late morning, early afternoon, perhaps that'll be one of the longer ones. The last few Wednesdays I've done some pretty long ass streams. Chris Mill says it's almost soup season. It's noisy bird season. Listen to them. St. John the Compassionate Mission. Muffin the Mule says, I don't know why you don't go where Lisa wanted to go. Because unlike our friends to the south, we live in a democracy. I ran a poll. These are the results, so this is the way we go. We'll be heading through East Chinatown pretty soon. There's a number of public schools in that little block over there. I think there's 3 of them. Hey, Michelle Gray. Good afternoon, Johnny and everyone. Good afternoon, Michelle Gray. Coming up is Dundas Street. Mark says useless vote. Hey, I honored the results. Out of service streetcar rolls by.
I'm trying.
we've made it to Dundas Street East. And that is why I try not to walk west at this time of day. If you want to see a video that's just Glare City. And there's a place on the right here that's always got a big lineup on weekends.
Mommy, look, it's a kid holding the stick.
I think that's it right there. As that kid said, "Mommy, look, it's a kid holding a stick." I think they were talking about me. Ukulele vote, UKL vote. That's the place, Silhouette Cafe. I walked by there the other day on the weekend and there was a massive line in front of it. Lisa says if taking the subway home, you'll go to Bathurst instead of Spadina to avoid the sun. Bill says Broadview is more interesting. Carlaw has a really interesting history though. At least up till Gerard. There's tons of old factories turned lofts. Maybe it's that place, Lady Marmalade. One of those places is always lined up. Always clean coin laundry. Those look like some 70s / early 80s era townhomes. Remarkably unremarkable. And look at that. Who the hell designed that area? Zero greenery, zero trees. Just super duper uninviting. Come on, people live there. Here's Hugh's Room on the left. This was previously on the west side of town. It's a live music venue. They've taken up residence in this old church. Lisa says, have I ever walked through there? No. But I have walked on Hamilton Street, which is 1 block west of here. And that's a very pleasant residential street. Chris Mel says, wow, that's ugly. Those were my thoughts, Chris. Hey, remember I came here for a haircut? Rainbow Hair Salon? I showed her a picture of what I wanted. I sat down and she proceeded to do absolutely nothing even remotely like it. There may have been a language barrier. But it was like, I think it was $12 at the time. That was during the pandemic when it was like on again, off again in terms of what was open and where you could go. I was just in dire need of a haircut. I walked by it recording. I was like, yeah, let's just end the video here or end my live stream. And then I went in and got absolutely butchered.
Let's have dim sum if you want dim sum. Yeah, this one is good.
A Wake Up Cafe and dispensary. Little touch of the Netherlands. Jeff says, cut your own hair. If I had to do like yours, I could. Lisa says, hard to trust people with your hair? Yeah, but hard to complain about a $12 haircut. Jeff's hairstyle is easy. What do you call it? The Mr. Clean look? I think this is the only library where they can serve you in Mandarin as well as English. And seeing as we are in East Chinatown, the first East Chinatown stores were on that block. It was actually a butcher shop. Randy Ruck says, all this transit, why not more development? This is a traditional streetcar suburb. And if you go into these residential areas, the density is actually somewhat decent. The lot sizes are quite small. I mean, it's a pretty great neighborhood to live. If you drive, the DVP is right there. If you want to take transit, you got 2 different streetcars operating on Broadview. Here's stone's throw from line 2. Oh, there's the Don Jail. And hello, CN Tower, peeking between that apartment building on the outskirts of Regent Park and the old Don Jail. Randy Ruck says you were there in the 90s, hasn't changed much. On the east side, over here, you get that feeling about a lot of places. Like you go on Jones Avenue, Woodbine, or Greenwood, they all probably look and feel just like they did 20, 30 years ago. And the oldest house in the city is tucked away up here on the right. You can't get a good view of it, but it's the oldest known house, at least. I once did a video where that was the subject of it, and drum roll, nobody cared. But we're about to get a pretty fabulous view of the skyline in a moment. Yeah, Bill Chow, I think that was the case with the one I went to. Again, I went in there knowing there was a language barrier, knowing that it was like $12. I have no right to complain. That's true, Roy. Back in the day when we were tough on crime, perhaps a little too tough back then, they used to do capital punishment right at the Don Jail. There's a lot of people setting up, ready to take in the sunset. In the earlier days of this channel, when I was live streaming like 5-6 years ago, This was a very common start and finish spot right at Riverdale. Mark says Broadview has some of the nicest apartment views of the city. Lots of people who own townhomes and condominiums, they're very lucky. Yeah, up from the second and third floor of some of these homes, you get a really nice view. Apparently the one that Gord Downey lived in, which is nestled into the neighborhood a little bit further to the east, had a pretty sick view. There's the Rooster Cafe. Look at all these people getting the most out of this little blast of summer in October. All right, it's almost time to pan the camera towards the skyline. Once I get past this cluster of trees. This is an old landfill. These green posts are actually venting gas. And fun fact, this was one of the proposed sites for the Sky Dome. Unicorn Power says probably won't see it this warm again until maybe May, so you get it. That's certainly likely. It's hard to think in a few months there might be a lot of sledding action going on. I'm just snapping a few pics. Candace says the GTA 6 graphics look insane. I am out of that loop. Got a food truck here. The landscaping on this hill leaves a little to be desired, but the view is quite spectacular. Greetings, Canada. Billy T says women's haircuts are very expensive. I think on average they're immensely more complicated. I've sat down next to women at the salon who have their head all wrapped up in something, while the same person cutting their hair comes over and quickly cuts my hair, occasionally checking in on the lady to my left. They're just a minor annoyance. Yeah, I'll go quickly cut that dude's hair. Lisa says my hair is super long. I pay for a super long cut. Yeah, it should probably be based on length, right? If you got long hair, you pay this. You got short hair, you pay this. But it is what it is. Greetings, Andrew Lamb. All right, let's keep moving. There's a lot of dust being blown around. At least it's blowing in the other direction and not right at me. Final views of the Skyline before we move on and hike up to Danforth. Pretty hard to top that Skyline view though.
Oh yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Your nails?
Randy Ruck says, fuck, I'm glad I don't have a wife anymore. It would cost a fortune. That's your takeaway? Interesting perspective. I mean, when I worked in the financial district, I worked with guys that would routinely get $50, $60 haircuts. And they'd get them like every 3 weeks. Their hair would grow in a little bit. And they'd be like on their lunch break getting a stupidly expensive haircut. So there's dudes that definitely spend a fortune on that stuff. I am not one of them. Those walk-up apartments over there are called the Broadview Mansions. Oh, little snippets of Korean, how I understand 20% of what they say. More Hangul to listen to. Mark Harp says it's a great place to park a Lamborghini. Unicorn Power says 20% more than you. Come on, I'm sure you know some of the basics. Look at her getting her cardio. I'll just convince myself that walking is sufficient. I think there's a lot of people coming down from the subway station. Probably going to the park to watch the sunset. Can't really blame them. People used to do that sort of thing in Korea all the time. And even back in 2008, long before Uber Eats and that sort of thing. I remember sitting at the Han River with some Koreans, and they would order fried chicken and pizza. And there were convenience stores dotted along the Han, and you could go get some beer. All right, we are almost at Broadview. Someone's getting their Halloween on. Trevor Bond, realtor, nest peddler. There's what used to be a Loblaws, but they closed the No Frills down at Carlaw and Gerard. Part of Ontario Line construction, and the Loblaws here was converted into a No Frills. It's probably a win for the neighborhood. The produce and meats are basically the same. Everything's basically the same, it's just a whole lot cheaper at that store. And who's ever been on this corner never seems to last. Iroquois Cannabis. This store is operated by sovereign people on sovereign land. Yep, that's why that cop is there, but that is an unlicensed cannabis retailer. I think the police leave those ones alone. They've been cracking down on mushroom shops. Google Nakba. Alright, someone's gonna have to Google Nakba. Hopefully it's nothing. Oh, I think I know what it is. It's part of a protest. Another look at the sunset. And there's Broadview Station. And just like that, we're going to bring this stream to a close. Made it up to Broadview. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. I want to thank our mods, channel members, Patreon supporters. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell and everything. Thank you to everyone who sent support. Congrats, Jeff, in advance on the 80K. We'll have to do some bowling pretty soon. Lisa says this corner is always full of characters. You can say that again. And for a brief moment in time, I am one of said characters. Thank you, Vivian. Thank you, everyone. Not sure when I'll go live next. Maybe tomorrow, maybe Wednesday. Thank you, Marge, Jennifer Gala, Medano, and everyone else. Have an awesome, awesome Monday. And if I'm not live before tomorrow night, go Jays. End that thing in 3. Let's not see the Schlittler on Wednesday. Have a good night, guys. Yoink.